Granolah arc is a top 3 arc ever in Dragon Ball Z, Super, GT, whatever. My list is Frieza, Saiyans, and Granolah. Feel bad for your list. What I'm learning as an anime YouTuber is the manga culture is manga's peak. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day. I have to read your hot takes yet again. Cell being given a senzu bean was still a horrible idea by Goku. With the power of hindsight, it works out, and thematically, sure, it's cool, but it doesn't equate to a good idea. Just to be clear, I get that it's better for story. Nah, I'm actually like a very, very high defendant of the senzu bean. I think that people look at this scene and they look at it as, oh my god, kid could die, horrible idea. Reality is Goku at this point in the Cell games was looking for like a pseudo successor to himself, and he found that in Gohan. Absolutely. I think even without the powers of hindsight, you could argue, oh, it was fucking Gohan, considering how ridiculously strong Gohan was exiting the time chamber. In fact, to go a step further beyond, Gohan full power, a lot of pro power scaler people will sit there and tell you, if Gohan were able to like get a fucking controller plugged into him, he could have boxed Cell. Just straight up, without even turning Super Saiyan 2. A lot of people debate that. So where I'm coming from is this idea that like this Cell senzu bean thing is a cardinal sin among cardinal sins. To me, I don't want to say it's ridiculous, because I do see the linear argument of he's a bad dad because why would you help your villain, LOLs? But then at that point, I feel like, one, not to straw man argument in it, but at that point, why a lot of shit happens in Dragon Ball doesn't make sense. Why did these niggas just not wholeheartedly jump the shit out of Cell? You feel me? So like, I feel like, one, it's a kind of dishonest argument, but then two, to stay on topic here, I genuinely would sit there and argue with somebody that, yo, it was probably the best thing to do, considering what necessities and what steps it takes to truly unlock Gohan at this moment in the series. Obviously, later on in the series, we can just untap his potential 10 times over 10 times, and all he has to do is fucking crack his knuckles, and it's untapped again, right? But at this moment in time, the rage boost thing was hinted to and directly shown to you guys time and time and time again. It only made sense that that would be the breaking point for Gohan, that if he were to lose his shit, oh yeah, GG's. And Goku at this point in time even goes on to realize that the flaw with Gohan, because again, if anything, I'm gonna give you an argument here. The power of hindsight actually would be helpful towards you. Hindsight tells you Gohan's not ready, and it was a bad move to do. However, Goku then immediately makes up for this mistake in essentially choosing Gohan versus being able to unlock Super Saiyan 2 himself with the sacrifice. Either way, at the end of the day, I think this senzu bean thing is a bit overblown, and maybe this isn't my best exact argument for it because I'm live, but I think the senzu bean fiasco is hilariously overblown, because when you really take a step back, it doesn't fucking matter. And maybe that's the hot take to start off with the video from me. Maybe Gohan full power, being a pacifist, dodge only kind of guy, still wins that fight. But that's the thing. When you rewatch the fight, Gohan is on defense the entire time. When you factor the Cell Juniors get born, they're going to beat the shit out of motherfuckers anyway, and then Gohan transforms. Yeah, it's more likely Gohan would just be like, oh, Cell's weakest. But at the end, I don't think that this senzu bean thing was such a like, oh man, what do we do moment. I think it's very overblown in terms of how things actually played out. But let me know your thoughts on that. But I understand this take. This take has been around for years. It's never going to go away. But I think that people will go a little bit too dishonest about it, especially when they go to the lengths of bad dad. Rage would have looked much cooler if they chose a false Super Saiyan look instead. Actually, fuck that. False Super Saiyan is the hardest form in Dragon Ball. No. Look, I'm all for team anti-care dye, you know, just like cool rage moments and things like that. But false Super Saiyan essentially being gold key, spiky haired Goku being the hardest form in the history of Dragon Ball. Yeah, hell no. But in terms of rage would have been cooler if he like just lost the pupils or some shit. I mean, sure, but that's my biggest gripe with rage of all the things, and it's starting to be my biggest gripe. I mean, I say it is the biggest one, but I'll say this: my take is just the fact. Super Saiyan Rage is a very inconsistently drawn form, like hilariously. Like he has the key sometimes he doesn't. He has the pupil sometimes he doesn't. If it were just 100% all pupils gone, I could see that having a bit more hype. But to be honest, as long as they kept the form consistent, I don't think Rage is an ugly looking transformation. Super Dragon Ball heroes might have the greatest character development in the whole history of Dragon Ball. We need more Yamcha. He kind of feels underutilized. No, we don't. I've beaten these allegations, so hopefully this one take doesn't take me back to these allegations. But this is what I'm saying, like, bro, what the fuck is Yamcha going to do in 2024? And I know what y'all are gonna say, bro, just write it in, make him stronger, It's like y'all want the weakest Z fighter to have a fight against the weakest villain, and then that's satisfaction. I mean, I don't understand that. I'm not saying that only Gohan, Vegeta, Goku, and Piccolo should get screen time. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is this idea that like Chaozu and Roshi should unretire and Yamcha should be doing it. Bro, you like, why do we want F tier fights to happen just for the sake of, oh, they're doing something? Not every Dragon Ball character needs to be on screen at all times. I don't know how that's something that the community cannot accept, but then simultaneously a Dragon Ball fan will sit there and tell you, hey, yo, One Piece lasts too long. Hey, yo, one pacing. But then you guys want to, dare I say, copy One Piece? You guys literally want every single Z fighter, bet yet every single human that can fight on Earth to get main fights in every arc, but then simultaneously one pacing. At the end of the day, I'm all for characters who believably could get screen time getting screen time. Hell, I'm all for characters who want to have a redemption tour or whatever, somewhat getting a redemption tour. And I'll go a step further. If the plot can be written into a way where lesser tier characters are actually the star of the show, that's fine. But when we're talking about a character like Yamcha, who's literally been comedic relief for like the past every arc outside of original Dragon Ball, no, I don't feel like, damn, bro, I need more Yamcha, unless you just want him to be there to tell jokes. The Buu Saga isn't that bad, despite its flat-out dumb story beats and slow pacing. I think it's pretty fun and enjoyable. I mean, that's a cold take, kinda, but I guess the issue is what's that bad and what's pretty fun and enjoyable. I think the Buu Saga is something that most Dragon Ball fans can accept. High highs, low lows. Everyone believes that the Buu Saga can drag. Everyone believes the Buu Saga definitely has some parts where you're like, I guess. And it definitely has some moments where if a fan were to sit there and send you 5 AMV YouTube videos, you would think this is the best arc in Dragon Ball history. So I don't necessarily disagree with what you said here. I just think that when you say it isn't that bad, I mean, people say it's the worst in Dragon Ball Z of the 4 arcs in Z, I'm saying, and it is. So I mean, like, what is that bad, I suppose? Vegeta would have been a better all-around MC than Goku. Come on, dog. Look, Vegeta fans, I ain't even heard a Vegeta fan say that. I hear Gohan fans say that, and I at least can accept that from a easy stand. But I have never heard a Vegeta fan say, oh yeah, he should be the MC. I think even Vegeta fans would be like, nah, whoa. Whoa, gang. like, whoa. Come on, bruh. Vegeta's main character, I'm not going to sit there and say he'd be stoic or stagnant, or even the gimmick would be boring, because I think Vegeta's character development sometimes in Super is underrated, but in Z, yeah, very vastly overrated. However, and neither are bad, let me be clear. But I think in terms of being the main character, there would only be so many limitations on how you would write Vegeta in Dragon Ball Z, especially if Vegeta were to be an original Dragon Ball. So we're just gonna have him like a non-comedic Kid Goku. Yeah, nah, I'm good off of that. Granolah arc is a top 3 arc ever in Dragon Ball Z, Super, GT, whatever. My list is Frieza, Saiyans, and Granolah. Feel bad for your listening. Look, manga niggas. What I'm learning as an anime YouTuber is the manga culture is manga's peak. People act like everything in the manga is the peakest of peaks. Like, I haven't seen somebody sit there outside of the ending of an anime. I haven't seen somebody sit there and say, oh, this manga chapter that hasn't been animated is actually bad. I'm saying that to say there is no rational way I'm putting Granolah over an arc like the Cell Saga. There is no way the Granolah arc solos original Dragon Ball even. That's ridiculous. That is crazy. And I'm a fan of Granolah, but that's ridiculous. Like, the idea that like every manga chapter is kind of flawless, it seems, outside of endings. The only thing I'll give manga fans this, not act like the anime didn't end poorly. Every anime that I've ever seen trend on Twitter has ended ass. Like, all of them. I swear to God. But then we'll watch the shit on the screen And it's like, huh, what are you talking about? The biggest case in point I'd even argue is Attack on Titan. When Attack on Titan spoilers were dropping left and right, and thank God I didn't see them, everybody, oh, this is ass. Oh my God, this is horrible. This is horrible. This is horrible. When the anime dropped, niggas was like, what? What are y'all bitching about? What this is fire. What are you talking about? Then there was obviously some discourse for like the next couple of days, and now routinely everybody's like, oh yeah, it's a pretty good ending. Like what are we talking about? It's actually deep endings. You pay attention to these dialogues, in-depth rewind what you missed about Attack on Titan videos dropping all across the lore. But if you were to ask us 6 months ago when these manga niggas read it, oh yeah, that shit's awful. So yeah, I don't know what's up with that, bro. Comment below why manga fans are like that, because that's interesting to me. Sorry to go on a tangent. Granolah is not near top 3. I feel like Vegeta is only around because fans like him. He really serves as a diet Goku until Goku shows up. Vegeta is a great character, but until Super, he wasn't a good rival. There was never really a point where Vegeta ever one-up Goku the way Sasuke, Gary, and many other rivals did besides the Saiyan saga. Anytime Vegeta has been stronger than Goku has been more of a technicality than anything. Against Android 19, Goku was sick, for example. The Super Vegeta thing doesn't count. Okay, so the last sentence doesn't matter. No, I hard disagree. One, Diet Goku is an egregiously bad take. I don't see how Vegeta and Goku in any way, shape, or form are the same guy. Two, saying he's never one up Goku, but then discounting multiple times where he surpassed Goku is crazy. I can't, like, gang, I'm not gonna lie. There's been a couple of times Vegeta was stronger than Goku. Hell, literally in Z, I don't know if it's in a manga panel as well, so maybe I'm reading filler dub dialogue here. Damn, on the spot, because I've watched it in sub. I don't know if Piccolo says this as well. I'm pretty sure he does. Piccolo kind of implies they're like, no, this nigga might have been stronger than Goku regardless. Like, you know what I'm saying? So... in fact, many times in the Cell Saga, there's people talk about that Goku might not even low-key be the strongest one. But regardless, this idea that Vegeta has never been like a good rival to Goku even just doesn't necessarily make sense. Everything from the Saiyan Saga to the Buu Saga, he's a pretty damn good foil for Goku, because while Goku is essentially nonchalant about it, he still respects and admires and acknowledges the fuck out of Vegeta. He just isn't on the same type of Vegeta, how do you do it? I got this out of rage, but you got it out of sheer training. He doesn't have like these crazy monologues about Vegeta, sure, but Goku on many occasions, when push comes to shove, talks about and admires the things that Vegeta does. I don't see how you don't think he's a good foil for him. And then even in terms of just being a base rival, when you take the story of Z, Goku was the first Super Saiyan, Vegeta was the second. Vegeta at one point in time was seen as someone that could have arguably been stronger than Goku. Vegeta unlocks Super Vegeta or whatever. I understand that Goku didn't go in there and train, but Goku then literally like sees exactly what Vegeta did, and he's like, nah, this ain't right, and he goes his own different direction. If you think Goku's stronger than Vegeta, therefore Vegeta has never one-upped him, and therefore that makes him a bad rival, I think that's a standard. But then there you go. And then on top of that, and I usually don't count this as a W, so fair enough, but Vegeta just straight up beats Goku in the Buu Saga. Granted, he snuck him, but he literally like gets the last laugh on him, and then even in Super he beats him in base. So I don't understand this Vegeta's a bad rival for Goku take. He also learns a fuck ton of Saiyan heritage from Vegeta, so canceling that out is crazy. Broly is overrated. Gogeta Blue almost kills Broly but just lets Frieza go. It being a retelling of other Dragon Ball titles, so a lot of plot points are reused. Gogeta has no relation or chemistry to Broly, so their fight has no narrative weight to it. Pacing is poor. 40 minute lore, we've seen something. Broly becoming strong enough to fight Blue Gogeta when he's never trained with Paragus, and one fight is still. Long story short, this guy thinks DBS Broly is overrated. The movie's pacing itself is poor, and he doesn't think that Broly has a believable power-up. One, you must be talking about the film, because none of what you said has to do with the character. Now, like, absolutely none. I have to be blunt. You named 0 valid criticisms of Dragon Ball Super Broly outside of maybe the idea of his strength. Everything else, this is about the movie. So I'm going to do you a solid and assume you're talking about the movie. Now, if we're talking about the movie being overrated, pacing is poor, 40 minutes on lore. No, the buildup was rather well. You needed to understand why Broly would even pull up there and how he was found. I think the biggest issue of the Z Broly movie, and I know Z Broly stands hate this criticism, but it's a very valid one in terms of how the characters meet and why they're doing what they're doing. DBS Broly is illustrated very easily. Like a fucking tot could understand why these niggas on site would want revenge. On top of that, why they would assume that Frieza's still the emperor of the universe, yada, yada, yada. The build up to the movie was perfectly fine. I don't understand what you would have preferred. If you're bored because they weren't punching each other straight out of the gate, that's tough. Not really helping the Dragon Ball fans only like fight scenes there. And then the way that Broly powers up, if you think that's unbelievable, that's fine. I think it's a very interesting gimmick. But that I guess I can see, but it's not like they didn't illustrate during the fight how things were going out, how things were being played. The fight has no narrative weight, but 40 minutes of the lore was too long. Yeah, that is crazy. Cell has the best looking transformations in the series. Sure, Super Saiyan 1 and 2 are more iconic, but visually it's easily Cell. Second form Cell is hilariously not in this conversation. On top of that, Goku has never had an ugly looking transformation. The answer is, for me, Goku, Frieza, or Buu. Yeah, Goku, Frieza, and Buu probably are there. Yeah, Goku doesn't have an ugly looking transformation. Cell does. Yeah, get that out of here. Goku could have beaten Cell even without more training in the time chamber. Yo, we are not beating allegations. We are not beating the allegations that we don't read. We are not. Fuck. Oh my God. No, he couldn't. Goku flagrantly says he was giving it his all against Cell while Cell was clearly holding back. In fact, it's to the point that Gohan deliberately says, oh, they're just fucking around. And he's halfway right. One person's fucking around and it's Cell. On top of these things, Cell gets a senzu bean. And granted, you could argue Zenkai Sage, but everyone is sitting there like, oh my God, he really was fucking around with Goku. Two, if you don't like anything I've mentioned, the Cell Jr. fight. Hypothetically, if Goku was trolling, why would he allow himself to damn near die to a Cell Jr. on the side? Oh, he was fatigued. He was fatigued. Why would he be fatigued if he was joking? Why would he be fatigued if he was holding back? Thank you. It's ridiculous. Piccolo just pisses me off. Fraud's been missing since the Cell Saga. For someone who never rests even in times of peace, I don't know how you managed to get snuck by Moro's goons. And then you mean to tell me his return to relevancy is from a wish from the Dragon Balls? I mean, yeah, when you dumb it down, the Dragon Balls things like damn kind of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, whatever, and we could have a video reacting to Orange Piccolo, but I'm definitely more of the mindset that, yo, a Namekian getting a power from the dragon is not the worst thing possible. However, I agree with your overall sentiment that Dragon Ball weirdly tells me Piccolo's the smartest character. Weirdly tells me he can keep up with Saiyans and all these things, and until very, very recently, neither are the case. If you I hate saying this because it's gonna make me sound so damn dumb, but if you remove the superhero arc, that time span from I'd say the Buu Saga to the Tournament of Power is like, what? This is the same guy that's smarter and can train, and the same guy that trains so fucking hard. Apparently, people will tell you that his power up on Namek isn't bullshit. So this is the same guy that is not only hilariously weaker than many of our main characters and many of the Saiyans, but simultaneously he's supposed to be so smart, but he gets done dirty in the most comedic and dumb ways. It's very crazy. So I agree with your overall sentiment that Piccolo goes on a massive fraud run, but I don't have an issue with where he is now. Dragon Ball is overrated. When it's peak, but I feel like a lot of people act like it's a top 5 manga ever, and having its best arcs anywhere less than top 5 is hearsay writing-wise when it's not, and that's okay. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're having an opinion on every anime ever, it doesn't shock me if you said 5 were better, but at the same time, it shouldn't shock you that one of the more iconic and popular anime out there is going to get its flowers to be a top 5 anime. And that's what I'm saying. These weird Dragon Ball overrated takes for me, I don't even think necessarily people go around and tell you, oh yeah, Dragon Ball has the deepest story of all time. Who says that? If anything, Dragon Ball stories are probably more massively underrated than overrated because people view Dragon Ball as boom, boom, punch, punch, hey, it's me, Goku anime. I don't think all of these clips that you see on Twitter, I don't think all of these, oh my God, this was peak, that was peak moments into the final conclusion that people say, oh yeah, Dragon Ball's just better than your favorite anime. That's not what that means. It's literally just people sitting back and like, yo, damn. In hindsight, that Super Saiyan 3 transformation, pretty fucking cool. And niggas don't even like Super Saiyan 3 anymore. But I feel like you guys see certain Twitter clips and just run with the idea that someone is sitting in their house meditating with Kamehameha emotes and the Dragon Balls around their feet. Like this is the greatest anime of all time. And I'm telling you, that's not what's really going on. People are just reminiscing of the good times that Dragon Ball has offered, and It's offered a ton of good times, and I think that is actually why Dragon Ball is underrated nowadays. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Goku Black and Zamasu are top 3 in history. This is the 4th episode that someone said this. This is the 4th time we've reacted to Dragon Ball hot takes and someone has said this exact same take. Mind you, he's counting them separately, so you think there's only one villain better than both Goku Black and Zamasu. That's crazy. His goals and motivations surpass Cell, and I find him better than Frieza as a villain as well. His cockiness is his downfall, and he actually achieved his goal in a way. Zamasu's goal, first of all, that's cap. He succeeded in the Zero Mortal plan, if you have to achieve your goal in a way, but his goal was for a realm, a universe led by gods without any mortals. His goal was never to not have a universe. That's just incorrect. So I hate to be a well actually guy here, because I understand like that's y'all thing. 847 Sage, well actually, no, but I'm actually gonna hit you with a well actually. Yeah, no, that's not Zamasu's goal at all. The entire realm being erased was not his plan. That's not what's going on there. So that's dead. And then when you're talking about better motivation than Cell, sure, I would debate that, Cell's thirstiness for perfection was better executed, but if you're talking about just who's playing, who has more like respectable villainy schematics, sure, he's not better than Frieza at all. I'll take the bait. He's not remotely better than Frieza. He's not as tenacious as Frieza. To be honest, he's not as sadistic as Frieza. His banter, y'all love hyping up Zamasu's monologues. Yeah, Frieza will tell you to your face some cooler shit than Zamasu will think out loud. Absolutely. There's really nothing Zamasu or Goku Black do cooler than Frieza outside of maybe literal techniques, like the fucking scythe, I guess is cool. If they make a remake of Dragon Ball and Z, they would be the best anime ever. They did called Kai. Are you saying touch it up again? I don't think that Dragon Ball Z nor Kai need an animation buff. Perhaps a small pacing buff. Maybe change some dialogue, but they already have Kai. So I'm just curious what you would ask for. Now, maybe if you're talking about original Dragon Ball getting a Dragon Ball Kai, I suppose so, but then I'm terrified of that. Because if anything, and this isn't a hot take, cold take of the video, original Dragon Ball's animation should not be touched. It's actually still to this day one of the more fluid versions in Dragon Ball history. It's a reason why the recent movies go back and kind of go for the original 90s art style. If you are trying to change up how original Dragon Ball is drawn, oh, you're crazy as hell. Kai's music hurts my head. Maybe you clean up this thing that original Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z do sometimes, where music has to be in every scene. Like, I'll always point out the Super Saiyan 2 transformation scene. For those who remember how the transformation is, he literally screams with the piano, dun, 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 dun. Stop it! I said, stop it! And then it goes to like some Cirque du Soleil theme with the Cell Juniors. Then it goes back to the serious theme. Then he transforms in its entirely different scene. There's some things about the music that could have definitely been cleaned up as well. But no, not enough for me to be like, oh yeah, if they just tackle the music of Z, redo the art style of original Dragon Ball, it's a W. I don't think it's necessary. Goten as a character sucks hot ass, and the story literally wouldn't have changed if he wasn't here. I mean, if they just wanted to make Trunks stronger. Look, man, Gotenks mattered. Look, man, Gotenks mattered. Absolutely, bro. Go. Man, that's big Goten, man. I like Goten. What do you mean? Without Goten there, we don't get the idea of S cells. Without Goten not being born, we don't get to see who Trunks' best friend is. Without Goten not being there, we don't get a really cool fight with the masked fighter against 18 and Goten versus Trunks. And again, Gotenks. So Goten does matter, man. As an individual character, oh man. let's continue, man. Let's continue hot takes, man. See, I feel like Gohan trying to sympathize with Cell makes no sense. I understand they try to go down the whole pacifist route, but you gotta understand that Cell not only murdered thousands, but he beat the brakes off of many of your friends. At that point, lock in. No. This is like another criticism I have of Dragon Ball fans. Sometimes we try to make things way too much in the adult humanoid mindset. And what I mean by that is, unironically, this is the worst character to bring this up for, because Gohan is religiously a person that tries to maintain human aspects and human outlooks on society of Dragon Ball. But even in this moment, Gohan is a fucking tot. A tot that's had to deal with war against aliens really since he could remember how to do anything. So the idea that Gohan, who thinks that he probably could take Cell at this moment in time, is sitting here like, yo, I don't like what we're doing. This is all pretty fucking stupid. I know why I'm here. I know why Dad's up there. I know why we haven't trained for 2 months. I know why he gave you a senzu bean. But I'm saying none of this shit needs to be going on right now. This is all pretty fucking dumb. It kind of, I wouldn't even call that sympathizing with Cell, because sympathizing, yeah, actually, now that I think about it, sympathizing is kind of crazy. But 2, I would also sit there and say that this is good for Gohan's character in the sense to realize that, hey, some people, you just got kicked their ass, kid. And it's just not, there's no bargaining out of it. Gohan has seen Vegeta turn good. Gohan has seen Piccolo turn good. Gohan has seen his father spare fucking Frieza even. So the idea that Son Gohan sympathizing with Cell is like a narrative thing that you can't get behind. If anything, that just makes the most sense. So I don't see where you're coming from unless you're trying to like put your adult, I'm assuming an adult ideology into the brain of a fucking 11, 12, 13-year-old, whatever the fuck age he was, because I forget. I think he was like 11. Buu Saga over Cell Saga. Okay, we're lying. Yeah, again, my Buu fans, you peak higher, maybe. You can argue that, but I think maybe's the worst part. I think for anybody that tries to argue that the Buu Saga isn't the worst arc in Dragon Ball, the hardest thing you have to do, to be honest, of all things, is say that it peaks higher than the other arcs. And you would think that's an easy thing to do, but it's unfortunate that it's not. You could say that the Saiyan Saga has higher peaks, you know, as great as the Final Atonement, all these things are. Yeah, sure, they have payoffs, immediate payoffs, but a motherfucker could look you dead in the eye and be like, yo, when that nigga Nappa killed all the Z fighters, that was the scariest I've seen Dragon Ball. A nigga could look at you and say, yo, that first beam clash, oh my God. When that nigga got hit with the first spirit bomb, so you can have that argument for the Saiyan Saga. The Frieza Saga, I mean, if that don't have hype beastie moments, what are we talking about? The Cell Saga, if that don't have hype beastie moments, what are we talking about? So I think you have to go so far to say that the Buu Saga is better than these other sagas. You have to say that they not only peak higher, but then the floors of them aren't worse than the floors of the other saga. You'd be doing a ton, for example, to convince me that, yo, the first half of the Buu Saga is just way better than the first half of the Saiyan Saga. Like, that don't even sound educated. So yeah, comment below if the Buu Saga is your favorite arc, best arc to you. That's, I guess, an opinion to have, but I don't know how you guys get there. But this has been Hot Takes. Take care, stay blessed. See you next time.